Let's listen to Brahms Concerto played by Iskandar Vijaya from Indonesia. Please, Iskandar. Very well, and I also enjoy the dimension of the nervousness, which is fine. But now I'm asking, what is more important, the nervousness or the grandness? Okay, now this particular dimension could be easily switched by the difference of vibrato. For example, not so much vibrato would just present things in a grand way and not in a nervous way. I think that this is a grand opening, okay? If you look at the orchestral score, you'll see that the timpani is actually accompanying you. It gives you the feeling of a thunder, okay? Until it actually resolves later into a major chord, okay? So, but we want to make sure that everything is very grand. Don't overuse your vibrato. Okay. Nervousness, yes. Overuse of vibrato, no. Very well done. Very well done. Very well done. It's okay. We are actually in a lesson. We're actually in the kitchen, and I especially stress that point because otherwise we will never be able to learn anything proper. Too much of a drop on the scales down. Okay. In fact, what we really should be listening to is the orchestra. The orchestra resolves. Into major. Now, the only thing I did, and my only suggestion to you, is to straighten the phrase out. Okay. What is actually more important is not the violin or what we do. It is more important what the orchestra does. Okay, they continue the theme. Okay, and in fact we are accompanying them. So the way we accompany is the way it's going to be presented. Okay, you've done your solo, or you arrived at the top. Now, as you let go, straighten the phrase out in terms of simplicity, and let's listen to the orchestra. Hopefully the orchestra is of quality, and then it becomes a grand performance. Okay, very well done, and I know you're trying to straighten the phrase out. However, I'm actually missing, let's take a look quickly at the dynamic. What do we have there? It's forte, okay? And then we're going into a diminuendo. How much diminuendo? He is there in sempre pianissimo. The first piano is here. So in other words, if you have forte, diminuendo, and piano, you still have a long way to go.
You can hear me, okay.
Right. You have a long way to go. Let me offer it to you again. In fact, I'm not using a lot of vibrato. There's no need, we're not finding much in that, because in fact we're accompanying what is more important. Okay? Very good, very good. Let's take a look at the music again. No ritenuto here, just a diminuendo. If you make too many ritenutos, you're going to arrive at the theme too slow. Okay? We want to make sure that everything stays in the same, that the structure there is very proper. Right. I appreciate your lyrical approach, and I appreciate especially the fact that you try to give meaning to every note. It means that sometimes I give up the possibility of a ritenuto in order to make really a global phrasing. Important now to have rhythmic precision. So I don't take so much ritenuto consciously. I could, but I don't, because I think that many of the little phrases kill the large phrase. Okay, I want you to consider it and try to be large and global, for it is really a large and very, very global concerto. Okay, good, but I think your sound is weak. It will not go through with an orchestra. I mean, again, don't forget, their piano is not your piano. the low point of a phrase, and it bothers me, honestly, when you use one note vibrate and the other one not, because it's the lowest part of the phrase. Let's switch our ears, and perhaps you can take a second or third phrase, but why the first? You know, I would be quite happy not to use any vibrato. Then a bit more colorful. Okay, very good. But now you go overboard. Now there's not enough color. Okay, we need to find the middle somewhere. Somewhere in the middle. Okay, very good. In the last phrase, this is how I would color your normal color, but you use the same kind of color in the third phrase and the second phrase. Okay. Yeah. Do you follow? I need your vibrato to build with you the large frame of the word. Yes, better. Okay, now, very good. We try to establish a color, and then again you use exactly the same vibrato. Okay. Yeah. Then you just killed it. You just killed it. Okay, now the other question, very good, but the other question, why so much sostenuto? There's nothing there, right? In fact, you know, we do so many things with the concerto that are in fact not written there. There's nothing there. I mean, Brahms left us with nothing. How about if we clear the table first? Do you follow? Yeah, clear the table, because then it's only then you will be able to decide how much do you want, how much of colors do you want in this, because it's over colored now. Right. Talented guy, really, you're a very talented guy, but let's now simply follow what has been written there, okay?
I should use this way.
Well, yes. They both agreed on a certain set of bowings which gives a violinist already a certain approach. In any case, I start down now. Time where I break it only because I actually want to make sure that the crescendo comes into the next material. But I try to follow the original bowings, not because they're the original bowings, but because it also gives you a certain evenness. It straightens out the phrase, okay? It means from your point of view that you need to slow down a little bit your bow speed and choose a vibrato accordingly so that it will serve the phrase. So you get one per bar, continue, continue, evolve, evolve, and get to the forte. Okay, now tempo. Wait, now tempo. Go ahead. Okay, you change bowings again. Okay, you see, now the Brahms concerto becomes difficult. Now it becomes difficult. Like I said, you should play with your original bowings now, because it's going to be very difficult for you to continue. However, give it a serious thought. Give the bowings a serious thought. Okay. So, very very little vibrato, slow bow change. Okay. Now let's listen again to the very beginning, actually in fact using the same bow speed and the same kind of vibrato. The concerto is not about yourself or about me. The concerto is about the concerto, about Brahms and about what he wrote. So, in my view, too much color. Okay? Not enough dolce and not enough piano. Why? Why do I insist so much on that? Because he is going to be continuing the theme. Brahms evolved the theme. And in fact, instead of being so concerned about our note or about how beautiful this note and that note is going to sound, we in fact have to serve the orchestra in this case. So the orchestra plays. Now connect. Very good. But two things were written in a score that did not happen. You have a crescendo and then a pianissimo. Okay? That did not happen. Do you see that one legato?
Okay.
There was a no. I don't need you to play that, but I need you to know it.
Yeah.
When you start, it's don't. You have to slow yourself down, Iskander. Slow bow speed. To me, this is amabile, but not amabile enough. It's always, I always get a feeling of some anxiety or nervousness from you, and it should be amabile.
More
It's not only a question of more relaxed, but it's a question of more love in a larger sense, you know, because those are large phrases. Okay. Also, what I do not get from you. Look at the crescendo, little crescendo. Yeah, it would be like somebody saying, yes, yes, my dear. Right. In order to do that, you actually need to be, very, you need to slow down your pace. Ta-ya, ta-ya. In other words, when you make the crescendo, at the end of a crescendo, you need to slow down your bow. Because if you don't, then the next crescendo will not come out. Okay, very good, very good. You vibrate just about anywhere you wish, but there when it becomes difficult, you don't vibrate. Why? I'm asking you very practical questions. Look, when we are becoming amabile, we're becoming so emotional. How can we use your ear? How can we? I know it's written there. Somehow I need that. Somehow it is part of the phrase.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I shouldn't use the hammer.
Well, yeah, I'm really wondering whether harmonic is really necessary there, because if you go or yes. In other words, use your ear. Your ear is actually more important. It should tell you how to connect the phrase. Fa, re, si, la, fa, la, re, fa. Okay, let's not just play. I don't try to make subito piano or subito less. Reason? It's too orchestral and too important. It's too quick. Tam, padam, padam, ta 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 ta. No, still too fast. Ta 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 ta. is a little unnecessary movement, which is not part of the heaviness of this concerto.
Okay.
Let's see if you can reproduce it. Use more bow, you know. Use more bow and stay straight. Just produce the sound. Good. Now let's move on. Okay. First of all, we have the violas. Give us the tempo. Pa, 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 pa. Again, in my view, your vibrato is overexposed, and sometimes your shiftings, many times unnecessary shifts that do not really represent the true nature of this. Again, remember, this is a large concerto. Okay, so move the bow slowly, not so fast. Okay. Which I can do very easily, but this stops me from doing it. Tranquilo.
Actually, I wanted to do it from
Yes?
Yeah.
Good, excellent. Let's hear your phrase again.
Okay.
I feel that bowings are reversed here.
Oh.
In other words, I took that one per bar, and then divided it only here by necessity.
Okay.
Up, start up. It's easier to slide. So based on that, I actually calculate my bowing. Okay? The objective is actually to leave no holes in this very large phrase. Your bow changes are not as quick as you used to do them before. In other words, yes, this is what is necessary in order to obtain all these large phrases. Okay, remember that. That's an important point. Just like in any dish, too much salt makes it too salty. In my view, what you just presented now was too much grazioso. It's not part of it. There's also tranquillo. If you put too much grazioso into this, then the tranquillo gets all shattered. It needs to be, first of all, tranquil.
Okay.
First of all, tranquil. Okay. Usage. How much vibrato is necessary? You need to recalculate that. Okay. Taratat, 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 taratat. That's the principle. And we don't get enough points while people are still caught up. And even we, the professor, sometimes we think, okay, this is wrong and this is right, and we forget that in fact Brahms wrote a point there on 3 points per bar. Tat, taratat, 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 taratat. Point, point. point, 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 point. See, it changes the phrase completely. He writes leggero, and then he writes, look, points, 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 and then he stops writing points and writes simile, which means follow, continue the point. Poco ritenuto, heavy enough, not a lot of vibrato. Points. This passage is also not too fast. Concentrate on diction. In order to cross a string, you need the time to properly grab the string. Yeah, so don't rush there. Ta 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 ta. Yes. Good. A lot better. But still, I would very much welcome a separation between the notes. In fact, otherwise, you would not write all those legatos. Ta, ya, that's an end of a legato. Ta, ya, ta, ya. So in fact, stop the bow. Oh, you're already on the third. Ti, ya, ta, ya, ta. Ta, 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 ta. Good. What is happening? Come here. In the orchestration, in the piano orchestration, you don't have it. But in fact, if you look at the orchestral orchestration, it continues. And that gives you the time how to play this. Your tempo is quite given. Quite given. A lot of this material is pretty much the same. Let's do a little bit of the cadenza. What drives me is mainly the rhythmic precision of somebody like Brahms, and not always his tremendous phrasing and his eloquent musicianship. If you look at it, the first part of the cadenza, everything is sort of Brahms, or on the same figure. So to me, this part becomes a little poco ritenuto, extras. Within a certain framework, it is still pretty much a Brahms concerto. Okay. The question is now how much of a lift you need. Now, wait, before playing, he's asking you to actually make sforzandos, right? To me, those sforzandos actually should have more weight. Ta-da-ya, ta-ra-ra, ta-ra. How about playing this within a framework of a tempo, okay? Because he writes in tempo here, right? That includes all of this in tempo. And then he writes con brio. There you can be a bit more flexible. So let's now take a second look at this cadenza. By having Joachim write in tempo is almost like Brahms writing in tempo, right? Because he's responsible for so much of his music. So in tempo here, we know that. And then con brio. Con brio many times should be interpreted simply as with bravery, with energy. Okay, it does not necessarily mean that tempo should be changed. Okay, but it's just for you to interpret things properly. Un poco ritenuto for one bar a tempo. Okay, and back into tranquillo. So just play the very end. I should like you to use your ears and to change finally your mode of playing Brahms concerto. You're a very good player, but you're using the wrong ingredients for Brahms. For example, what I'm missing here is the difference between 16th notes and 8th notes and quarter. Well, Brahms wrote this, or Joachim wrote this, okay? 1, 2, ta-da. Okay. Two things. Tranquillo. Tranquillo is not necessarily a tempo indication. It just means tranquil. Okay. If this is tranquillo, then there is no meno mosso here. This is another very typical thing that players take. That I'm not saying that one should not be expressive. One should be expressive, although he did not specifically indicate in these bars to be expressive. But how about the general formal structure that is being distorted here? Also here. There is a way of doing that. You know, there is a way of doing legato with changing bow without hearing it. So let me play it for you. Just stand on the other side. But now, never mind the playing, but what did you get most out of this? In fact, what I tried to transmit most was tranquilo. Again, be careful when you're trying. The first thing that goes is fast vibrato. Most schools, in fact all schools, teach you to play on this side of the bow, completely ignoring the fact that there is a reverse side that could be used, right? In order to change a bow eloquently, you in fact have to use both sides. Reverse. And reversing it is by actually, right, by actually reversing, No, you're stopping the sound. You have to continue, right. There will be a point of practice. You'll find that point of practice where it will sound just like one legato. And this is in fact something very specific that is needed for that spot where we always encounter problems there pulling it in one bow. So we in fact almost must take two bows there. How about continuing exactly in the same tempo? Okay. I find the animato to be of lesser nature, okay? The animato is actually done for a purpose of conclusion, okay? And again, also there I find you a little bit hasty and a little bit too rushing, okay? I don't like your bowings here, you know, but they break the whole.
I can use the original.
Right, that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. This is one per bar. In other words, right. The ritenuto, if any, should be in a 2-3. Thank you very much. Thank you.